Today is Wednesday, April 22nd, 2026, and this is Read Through the Bible.
Here it is. Ding, ding.
Round 3.
Round 3 of this match with Job and his friends. Today we're reading chapters 22, 23, and 24 of Job, and it's like the beginning of round 3. So it's Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar. They've all spoken once each. Job's replied, and they all spoke twice. The second time, Job's replied, and now it is Eliphaz's turn to speak.
Right. And they are all trying to figure out, why is this happening? There's got to be an explanation. We've got to get to the bottom of it. Why?
Yes. And the problem is that Job's friends have retribution theology on their mind. Like God punishes the wicked and he blesses the righteous. And so in this case, what was that quote we came across?
So it says, retribution theology must invent guilt to explain suffering.
And that's exactly what Eliphaz does here. He just changes the narrative. He gets it all wrong because he's trying to fit it into his theology, claiming that Job has sinned.
Right.
And he invents all these sins that Job has. And
Because he's so determined to figure out why. Why is this happening? That, he's either he's lying or he's actually come to believe that Job has done these very specific evil things.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Chapter 22. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, "Can a man be profitable to God? Surely he who is wise is profitable to himself. Is it any pleasure to the Almighty if you are in the right? Or is it gain to him if you make your ways blameless?"
Okay, so Eliphaz is assuming a no answer here, that it's no benefit to God if Job is in the right. But that's the whole premise of chapter 1. It is the whole premise of Job, is that it is a pleasure to God that he is found blameless before Satan. Yep.
Okay, verse 4. "Is it for your fear of him that he reproves you and enters into judgment with you?"
Okay, and here's the summary so that was about God, and now here comes Job. He's totally wrong about Job, and the summary comes here in verse 5, which would be a good summary statement for you.
Okay, verse 5. "Is not your evil abundant? There is no end to your iniquities. For you have exacted pledges of your brothers for nothing, and stripped the naked of their clothing. You have given no water to the weary to drink, and you have withheld bread from the hungry. The man with power possessed the land, and the favored man lived in it. You have sent widows away empty, and the arms of the fatherless were crushed. Therefore snares are all around you, and sudden terror overwhelms you, or darkness so that you cannot see, and a flood of water covers you."
Now, it's interesting, all these inventions of Job's sins, Job will retort in chapter 31. They're just not true. He didn't exact pledges for nothing. He didn't strip the naked of their clothing. He gave water to the weary. He didn't withhold bread from the hungry.
Right.
But he's trying to explain why, therefore, verse 10, the snares around you. Okay, so now in verse 12, he's going to talk about God, and Eliphaz basically going to say, "Job, I think you think that God is not quite there." And he's exactly right in this. So, is not God high in the heavens? See the highest stars, how lofty they are. But you say, Job, what does God know? Can he judge through the deep darkness? Thick clouds veil him so that he does not see, and he walks on the vault of heaven.
I mean, he basically said that. I'm trying to find God, and I can't find him.
And he's going to say that again in chapter 23. We're going to read today, like chapter 23, verse 3. "Oh, that I knew where I might find him." So that is true. Like in Job's mind, God is like distant and unaware and cloudy, and he can't quite find him. Verse 15, "Will you keep to the old way that wicked men have trod? They were snatched away before their time. Their foundation was washed away. They said to God, 'Depart from us. And what can the Almighty do to us?' Yet he filled their houses with good things. But the counsel of the wicked is far from me. The righteous see it and are glad. The innocent one mocks at them, saying, 'Surely our adversaries are cut off. And what they left, the fire has consumed.'" Okay, now here's a kind of the resolution of what Eliphaz is recommending to Job.
Right, it's refreshing. At least he's coming back down and calling Job to call back to God again.
Right.
Okay, verse 21. "Agree with God and be at peace. Therefore good will come to you. Receive instruction from his mouth and lay up his words in your heart. If you return to the Almighty, you will be built up. If you remove injustice far from your tents, if you lay gold in the dust and gold of Ophir among the stones of the torrent bed, then the Almighty will be your gold and your precious silver. For then you will delight yourself in the Almighty and lift up your face to God. You will make your prayer to him, and he will hear you, and you will pay your vows. You will decide on a matter, and it will be established for you, and light will shine on your ways. For when they are humbled, you say, it is because of pride. But he saves the lowly. He delivers even the one who is not innocent, who will be delivered through the cleanness of your hands.
I think that's a good counsel. Like, just return to the Almighty, and you'll delight yourself in him, verse 26. So it'll go well with you.
But it's still probably really just
transactional.
Painful. Yeah, and probably painful for Job to hear, because he's thinking, I don't...
I've not left him.
I haven't left him, right. You're saying return, but I haven't left him.
Yep. Okay, so summary of chapter 2, right, verse 5, is not your evil abundant, no end to your iniquities. Yeah. Okay, and now chapter 23, Job is basically going to say, hey, I'm seeking for God. Job answered and said, today also my complaint is bitter, my hand is heavy on account of my groaning. Oh, that I knew where I might find him, that I might come even to his seat. I would lay my case before him and fill my mouth with arguments. I would know that he would answer me and understand what he would say to me. Would he contend with me in the greatness of his power? No, he would pay attention to me. Okay, so we're going to see that at the end in chapters 38 through 42, that he's not going to contend with him. He's not going to pay attention to Job. Really, the answer to his suffering is that God's going to contend with him in the greatness of his power and not pay attention to him at all. There, an upright man could argue with him, and I would be acquitted forever by my judge. Behold, I go forward, but he is not there, and backward, but I do not perceive him. On the left hand, when he is working, I do not behold him. He turns to the right hand, I do not see him. But he knows the way I take, and when he has tried me, I shall come out as gold. Like, I'm going to be proved innocent.
He's very confident.
Very cocky, right?
Very confident.
Okay, and here he asserts his righteousness. And he's true. My foot has held fast to his steps. I have kept his way and have not turned aside. I have not departed from the commandments of his lips. I have treasured the words of his mouth more than my portion of my food. And we're going to see that especially in 31. But he is unchangeable. And who can turn him back? What he desires, he does. For he will complete what he appoints for me, and many such things are in his mind. Therefore I am terrified at his presence when I consider I am in dread of him. Like, he is making some progress here in terms of just saying that God can do as he pleases, and wow, what he has done to me, I am fearful of him. God has made my heart faint. The Almighty has terrified me. Yet I am not silenced because of the darkness, nor because thick darkness covers my face. So, he is, I think verse 3 is a good summary here. If I wish I knew where I could find him, that I might come even to his seat, right, to argue with him. Is basically what he's saying. I want to state my case before God. I'm going to be found like gold. I am so innocent in this matter, but God remains elusive. He seems this cloud. Wherever I go, forward or back, I can't find him.
Well, yeah, and I think then he says, if I could just find him and lay my case before him, I am confident that I will come forth as gold.
Right. Okay, so then in chapter 20...
Which I'm sure made his friends very frustrated.
For sure.
Okay, 24.
Yeah, and so 24 is going to focus just on injustice, right? The injustice that works in society, and there's no justice.
Well, yeah, like the oppression of poor people and the widows. Okay, 24 verse 1. Why are not times of judgment kept by the Almighty? And why do those who know him never see his days? Some move landmarks. They seize flocks and pasture them. They drive away the donkey of the fatherless. They take the widow's ox for a pledge. They thrust the poor off the road. The poor of the earth all hide themselves. Behold, like wild donkeys in the desert, the poor go out to their toil, seeking game. The wasteland yields food for their children. They gather their fodder in the field, and they glean in the vineyard of the wicked man. They lie all night naked without clothing and have no covering in the cold. They are wet with the rain of the mountains and cling to the rock for lack of shelter. These are those who snatch the fatherless child from the breast, and they take a pledge against the poor. They go about naked, without clothing, hungry, they carry the sheaves. Among the olive rows of the wicked they make oil. They tread the wine presses, but suffer thirst. From out of the city the dying groan, and the soul of the wounded cries for help. Yet God charges no one with wrong.
I think that's a key statement there at the end of verse 12, is that all these injustices take place, the poor and the naked and the widow, and yet God charges no one with wrong.
Yeah.
There's no justice with God. And there's no justice, as continues in verse 13. There are those who rebel against the light, who are not acquainted with its ways, and do not stay in its path. The murderer rises before it is light, that he may kill the poor and needy, and in the night he's like a thief. The eye of the adulterer also waits for the twilight, saying, no eye will see me, and he veils his face. In the dark they dig through houses. By day they shut themselves up. They do not know the light. For deep darkness is morning to all of them, for they are friends with the terrors of deep darkness.
You say, swift are they on the face of the waters. Their portion is cursed in the land. No treader turns toward their vineyards. Drought and heat snatch away the snow waters. So does Sheol those who have sinned. The womb forgets them. The worm finds them sweet. They are no longer remembered, so wickedness is broken like a tree.
They wrong the barren, childless women, and do no good to the widow. Yet God prolongs the life of the mighty by its power. They rise up when they despair of life. It just seems like there's injustice. He gives them security, and they are supported, and his eyes are upon their ways. They are exalted a little while, and then are gone. They are brought low and gathered up like all the others. They are cut off like the heads of grain. If it is not so, who will prove me a liar and show that there is nothing in what I say? So basically Job is saying, there's a lot of injustice in this world. You all have this view of God and view of life, that everything exactly justice. Mm-hmm. And Job's saying, there's a lot of injustice in this world.
And a lot of ways that God works in this world that we just don't understand.
Yeah, right. That they certainly didn't understand. Mm-hmm. Okay, we will continue tomorrow with Bildad. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.